All right, Eve, welcome to Snowflair podcast.
Thank you
We're,
for having me.
yeah, we're super excited to have you here. So today, we're having Eve. Eve is working for her own agency, an insurance company. So we have talked about Snowflare solutions and also about hiring and especially hiring like sales, software
Hmm.
representative and stuff. So yeah, Eve, if you don't mind, just to give us a self introduction and about your company to get it started, and that would be great.
Great. Thanks, Louis. Thanks for having me, guys. So my name is Yishan. About 2 years ago, right after COVID, I've decided to quit my corporate director's job to really build my own dream. So I started my own insurance agency, and my insurance agency is just my name, Yishan Insurance Agency. And because the product that we offer really solve middle American market solutions when life happens. So I'm also very fortunate that within a year and a half, I actually replaced my corporate director salary job and building my own dreams and having my own team as well.
Yeah. So tell us more about like what exactly the product that you have, and also I know we actually have a lot of people wanting to learn more about like what are the position that are you hiring and what product are you selling, right? Because you're
Hmm.
hiring some like salespersons, so you want to build a team around yourself. So yeah, if you don't mind me to share a little bit more intel about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Louis. So the product itself is called life insurance with living benefit. So a lot of time when people think about life insurance, it's only prepared for one thing. Someone had to die first to use, right? But what with living benefit, Louis, is that if let's say someone get into a chronic such as long-term care or critical such as heart attack, cancer, stroke, which is very common actually in today's society, unfortunately, because we live in such a stressful environment. So when that happened, what happened to your income? You can't go to work,
Right.
right? And so can you call your mortgage company or can you call your landlord and say, hey, I'm actually sick right now. I cannot give you payment. What would they say? Oh, sorry about that, but you still have to make payment.
Hmm.
So statistically showing that 66% of people actually file bankruptcy because they got sick.
That's a pretty high rate.
That's very high rate. And then think about it, it's kind of sad, right? Because you're already like suffering this kind of disease and then you lose your home at the same time. And so that also means that your kids and your loved one won't have a roof over the head. So this product is really what we call income replacement. It really helps people if that shall happen, God forbid. You're in a peace of mind that you can actually replace your income and take care of your own health and get better. And so that way, what we believe is, we want you to be here for yourself and for your family.
Mm.
So that's the product in the really general cap for it. And our product also recently cover Alzheimer. So all as we know right now, statistically showing men's average life expectancy is about 82 years old,
Hmm.
and women's 84.
Mm.
So when we get older, if you don't get sick, sometime, right, our brain will go away as well. So Alzheimer, dementia, it's coming up as well because people do live longer than our grandparents' time. So the company, National Life Group, actually also is aware of this disease, and I want to make sure to cover as well. So all this is all included in one package. And meanwhile, this product also serves another purpose, which Louis, a lot of people don't know, is life insurance actually can help you build tax-free, guarantee no loss retirement. So if
Interesting.
yeah, so if you think our income tax going to go up in the future, this might be a good solution for you.
Yeah.
Besides Roth IRA, so yes, I am hiring sales representative.
Yeah.
I'm also hiring business owners. Someone wants to build a business. You don't have to be a business owner to begin with, but if you want to build a company, you want to have your own freedom, just like yourself, right? You're building a company. You can dictate how your company's vision,
Yeah.
your time. This is a very great platform to
Yeah.
do so as well.
But it's you gotta be really hardworking though,
You
because
do.
when you're building something, you gotta know like you have your freedom, but you gotta know if you don't work hard, you got nothing.
That's true. That's true. Very true. But you know what, Louis, the way how I look at it, we all work hard.
Yeah.
But before, when I was working hard for someone else's business, right? But now we work hard for our own dreams.
True.
So it's very different. Like
Yeah.
right now, I'm sure you can relate with me. For example, Labor Day is gonna come up.
Yeah.
For us as a business owner, we don't even feel the holiday because every day can be a holiday for
Yeah.
us,
You work
right?
24/7.
Yeah, you work 24/7, but we always say discipline was that your freedom. You
Yeah.
work hard right now, and then you got your business built up, right? Then you're gonna have that freedoms in the future, that lifestyle that people are looking for.
Yeah, for sure. So, Eve, I want to just dive a little bit more, like, especially, you know, what is kind of wanted to hear more about how would you describe your cultures in the company? Like, especially, as a business owner, we always trying to, when you're building a team,
Hmm.
hiring people, a lot of job seekers, they probably cares about like, who are you, right? What is your belief and what is the culture in the company looks like? How would you describe that to your company?
Thank you. So you talk about belief. My team name is actually called Team Believe to Achieve, and it also has my name Eve in their hint,
Nice. That's pretty
right?
creative.
Thank you, thank you. So what the culture itself? Let me just kind of describe who we are as business partners. There actually came from all walks of life. We have people at CPA, doctors, lawyers. We also have, people that came from the background, such as nail technicians or waitress. I really think our platform really offer people, for example, if you're blue collar or someone that's newly immigrant,
Hmm.
which we were once, right?
Yeah.
We don't have that necessary chance to elevate in the corporate unless you study here in the most senses. It gives you ordinary people a chance to be extraordinary
Yeah.
because it doesn't base off of what school you go to,
Yeah.
what experience you have, right? It based on the desire that you have,
Yeah.
how hard, like we talk about, how hard you want to work. The reason why there are also people like in white collar, like lawyers and CPAs or registered nurses that join us as referral partners, because in their field they actually also see that people asset got taken away because when sickness happens, strikes them.
Yeah.
So they're like, wait, there's such a product, there's life insurance you don't have to die to use. That will actually solve a lot of problems for my clientele.
Hmm.
So they say, okay, well, I'm not going to do this right professionally, but I can refer,
Yeah.
right? So you also get paid when you are referrals. Being a referral, we call it referral partners.
Right.
Yeah. So I want to say our culture is very diverse, very open minded,
Hmm.
and we believe in teamwork. There's a saying: you start a business by yourself, but you're not working in it. For yourself, but you're not working by yourself.
Yeah.
The reason the platform is we want to make sure you're a success, because for us, we're not going to be success till you're success. So the format itself, it created abundance mindset instead of scarcity mindset. I remember when I was working for a corporate, if you and I were same peer,
Yeah.
I don't want to teach you everything I know, because if I do, then you'll become my competitor. You might like perform so well, then I might lose my job, right?
Yeah.
But over here, it's like, hey, Lois, I actually tried this. This is really, this method is actually great. This is how I talk to people, and this that. You might want to try this because you're in my team, and I want to make sure that you know everything I know, so that helped me to free up my time
Yeah.
to search for another 10 Lewis
Yeah.
for my team. So I think that's a culture that I really enjoy because you're not living in the environment where, oh, I gotta prevent you to know everything I know,
Yeah.
but more of an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
So I say I guess the best description for
Yeah.
our environment.
This is a pretty interesting concept. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, sometimes if you're working in the same company, you do see like, hey, I want to be the one to get promoted, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we all have to agree that we have some like selfishness, like,
Everybody's selfish.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. And also just to echo on what you say, like, I think personally, I believe is the best leadership is a leader create more leaders.
Oh, absolutely,
Like,
I
you
love
don't
it.
create followers, you create more leaders. So like, everyone eventually you can learn from that leader, you look up to that person, and you can be the person who creating more leaders down,
Mm,
like, down your team, right? So
yep,
I think that is something like, when we're building Snowflare and when you're building your company, something that we we always talk about here is we always wanted to encourage people to take more ownership. People can be
yep.
more taking more initiative, be more proactive, and to
Mm-hmm.
think about the problems, and then to teaching more people and making more impact.
Absolutely, and just to kind of echo you, what you said, our chairman of the company, he's like a billionaire. One time we went to his boot camp, right? Because
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur, a lot had to do with your mindset. So he actually said something to us. I found it very profound, very deep. He said that you have to become irrelevant for your business. When you
Irrelevant.
irrelevant,
Mm.
that means that, just like you said, you already have leaders in your organizations. They can help you solve all kind of problems because they can handle this from beginning to finish. Then you become irrelevant, right? All you have to do just lead them, but they already can lead themselves, right? So we're all kind of just going to a same goal, but we're all leading each other and helping each other out. So it's like once you become irrelevant for your organization, you are pretty much very
Yeah.
successful.
You talk about like delegating the responsibility to
Y-
the other people. So
Right,
you got to trust them, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think you just on the early of the podcast you mentioned that you work recruiters, right?
Yes.
You give up on your corporate job. That has to have a lot of gut to do it. Because for me, I got mortgage, I got a lot of stuff going on. So I kind of want to dive a little bit deep on the motivations. So what motivate you that just tell me, give me a walkthrough about what motivated you to become a recruiter, and also why did you give up on that job, and how did you transition into your current job? Because I think we have a lot of people here is their struggle on identify what they really want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's next,
Mm-hmm.
and what is their ultimate goal. So we actually have a lot of people with that kind of having that kind of problem. So if you don't mind me to share a little bit more on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So how I got where I'm at today. So I actually started out as an insurance agent with a previous company called New York Life, company keep. And I remember I was going through training, and the trainer, um, you probably won't believe it, but I actually got bullied during
Oh no.
training. She actually said, Eve, if you want to get into a management position, you have to speak perfect language or perfect English. I was like, interesting.
Mm,
Okay.
that's not
So,
good.
yeah, right. And so, but at the time, I was really just freshly out of college. I know it's not right, but, I didn't know what, I don't have my voice, right? And so, but what I actually did was, I'll say, okay, watch me, right? I love it when every time someone doubted me, I turned it into a fire for myself to get better. So my first check actually was 40,000. So I made a copy of that and I put it in her mailbox,
Wow.
and I said, this is from someone that does not speak perfect English. And I got myself into, then, as life kind of like taking the turns, I actually got become a recruiting director for AIG. And with AIG, actually, in this area, Louis actually have about 7 offices that I'm running around, and have two assistants at that time. So I worked 3 years without any PTO. And in California, as you
That's pretty
know,
aggressive.
yeah, because the job is so demanding, right?
Yeah.
But my package, I actually have 30 days PTO. I don't even have to earn it. And then in California, it's unlimited rollover.
Yeah.
So my manager say, "Oh, Eve, you gotta take some PTO. You have like 90 days now." I'm like, "Okay, I haven't seen my dad for 3 years. Let me go take like 2, 3 weeks off, right?"
Right.
So I took vacation and went to see my dad. And then just when I come back, less than a month, I got a, I got that phone call.
Hmm.
That phone call said, "Hey, Eve, what are you doing this afternoon at 2 o'clock?" I said, I don't have anything. I don't have any interview on my schedule." Okay, well, we'll need to have a conversation. And that's that conversation. Say, "Oh, business decision, your job is demolished."
Oh my gosh.
And then they take my job position and they give it to my assistant, right? So at that moment, Louis, I was telling myself, I was like, you know what, I gotta, the only time you cannot get fired is if you're a business owner. So at that time, I was like, okay, what do I need to do to not have this happen again? I was lucky it happened in my mid 30s. And right now, as you know, this economic, I've seen a lot of friends actually is scared that their job is going to
Yeah,
get
they're losing
replaced
job.
because
Everyone is
AI,
laid off.
right?
Yeah.
Because AI is coming, right? I mean, it's not coming; it's already here.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that a lot of my friends are in their 50s, great talented people, but they're kind of in the struggles
Yeah.
period because if they go find a job, they're not gonna. They always say you're overqualified for what we're looking for. So anyways, kind of get back to how I get here. Then I still was a recruiter, and I turned into a recruiting property and casualty agents. So then I got my license back to do insurance on the side. So I actually have a corporate director's job and doing building my business on the side, right? Because I know building based business take time, also take capital. So, but then also during that time, pandemic time, 2020, where everybody's cooped up at home, right? And then I got my annual review. My direct manager, I got bullied again. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my luck. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she actually gave me a verbal communication annual review, and she put on my verbal communication saying that Eve is trying her best knowing English as a second language. And I was really confused. I was like, okay, what language are we speaking here?
Yeah.
And she's like, English. I said, good. Do you have hard time understanding me? No. Do you need a translator? No. I was like, then how did you come up with that review, right? Because I love to take constructive criticism or feedback, but I wanted to know how did you come up with that? And she couldn't say anything, right? So at the time, I know, Louis, not only I have as a woman, I have a glass ceiling, right? Because that's when you get married and pregnant. But as different, like as a minority, we have an ethnicity ceiling as well. So I was like, wow, I will never be able to. It doesn't matter how hard I work, I will never get to the level where I want to be. That corporate ladder is not available for me.
The corporate ladder is really hard to climb.
Right. And so after that, after pandemic, I feel like if this is the environment I'm in, I might as well
Hmm.
build my own business.
Right.
And because I was doing what I'm doing on the side, it's I mean, honestly, it's a leap of faith, Louis, too, right? I mean, it's very scary. I have to admit, it's very scary to leave 66 figures salary director's job to jump in and be fully commissioned.
Very hard.
Very hard,
You got to
right?
have a really high conviction to do that.
Yes, but it also to the point where I just can't stand it anymore. I say, you know what? Let me just figure this out. I'm gonna push it really hard for 6 months and see where I end up.
Right.
Because in United States, we call the land of opportunity. I was thinking if it doesn't work out, I can the worst case scenario, I go back find another job.
Yeah.
Or there's so many side hustle you can do. Uber, Lyft, you know, drive curbside pickup, right?
Yeah.
Panda deliver. If I want to, and I don't have my ego in the way, I can always make money
Yeah.
while building my dreams. So that's how I end up where I'm at today.
Really brave decision.
Thank
But
you.
it looks like everything's doing really well.
Thank
So
you.
congrats on that. Yeah. So and I think this is really great information that you share. I
Mm.
think it's also really helpful for a lot of people that who's listening to our podcast on Snowflair. We have a lot of students that still in school and graduating and
Oh,
looking
I
for a
love.
job. So I think what do you when you're early to doing this, did you start as a part-time job or you mentioned you can still do Uber Live and how did you adjust that? Like I think one of the hardest thing is the balance, right? Like if you did you just start as a part-time job, full-time? I'm more curious about that transition. How did you transition that into the full-time?
Great
What's the
question.
secret sauce actually?
Yeah, great question. So, as I first started building my own business, I know I still need to have side hustle because building a business sometimes just because you spend time doesn't mean that it will have result, as you know, right? With building a Snowflare, you have to invest a lot of your time and your energy in it. So at the beginning, I was actually helping a not Congress, I'm sorry, a councilwoman in Fremont to run her campaign. She paid me by hourly, but my time is very flexible, right? So that's the only requirement I have. I need to have a flexible time so that I
Yeah.
can build my business. Because, when I need to, let's say, have a meeting with my client can arrange meeting with me like 9 o'clock on a weekday night because that's when literally they came home and they put their kids to sleep, and then that's where they can actually talk about the real stuff like finance or their future. So that's the only requirement I have. So with that, and then I also pick up some other side project that I do, um, just so that I know I can exchange time for money while supporting my dreams, because I have an ultimate goal is I want to build this agency, this team where I can earn a passive income instead of active income.
Hmm.
So at the beginning, I was doing that about 7 months. And then I just really hone in just to my target, to my goals, and also was planting a lot of seeds. So while I was doing
Mm.
a part time, I don't just do my part time job and not forget about my business, right? I do my part time job and I do 4 or 5 hours a day, and I spend another 4 or 5, 6 hours on my business. So I was planting a lot of seeds in the beginning, and then I guess after 6, 7 months, it's like farmers, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
plant the seeds, and in 6, 7 months, like right now it's fall, and then it's a harvest time.
yeah,
So you receive, the seed that you plant.
yeah.
So that's how I
But that sounds
transitioned
pretty
to.
hard though. Like you gotta work for like 4 to 5 hours full time, and also another 4 to 5 for the side. I think for a lot of people, they might give up, right? So what was your mentality? How did you conquer that and persevere all this kind of stuff?
Um, I guess when I was working for a corporate as a director, even though it sounds very glory, I have 7 offices. I actually also work 8, 10 hours behind the desk for someone else.
Yeah,
So for me, breaking up the times and pushing through, um, for me, it's easy because working hard or not working hard is all habit. You have to build that habit. Success is also a habit, right? Getting good grades is a habit. So there's a book called Compound Effect,
compound
by
effect.
by
Yes,
Darren Hardy,
heard about
right?
that. Yes.
Yeah, I really love the book. I recommend whoever's in school right now, younger generations, because right now you heard a thing called instant gratification, right? I think that's a challenge for
Yeah,
young people, right? Everything is instant, right? Like instant noodles. We forgot what it's like to work hard,
yeah,
and the final result when you actually get there, the fulfillment you feel. So what compound effect is teaching me, at least what I got out of it, is you just do a little bit increments at a time. So if you cannot do uh, 8 hours, 10 hours a day, well, why don't you, besides what you have on your hand, if you're a student, you go to school, maybe you spend 1 hour, 2 hours doing something extra
right.
to add values for yourself, for
You
your
always can
future.
learn.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Right. And same thing with people that's working, right? I understand after 7, 8 hours, you feel really tired. You get home. But do you spend the evening watching 3 hours Netflix, which doesn't really add value to you, or you rather spend 1 hour, just 1 hour? If 1 hour is too long for you, 20 minutes. Start
yeah.
with 20 minutes.
Start with something.
Right. Read a book, learn a skill, right? Because if you keep on doing the same thing over and over, you're gonna get what? Same result,
Yeah,
right? You have to do something a little different to add to get a different result. So that's
right.
that's I think that's a mindset that I first started it. Again, right, when I started this, I didn't do this as a full time. It's a part time for me, but I
Yeah,
just know that I need to do something different if I wanted to have a secure future for my own.
for sure. That's a really good mentality. I think for a lot of people here is, they give it a try and doesn't work out and they give up. But I think for what you are saying is you have to consistently keep trying, keep doing, just start from somewhere. 1 minute a day, 5 minutes a day, 10, and you slowly to increase and gradually to increase the amount of work for that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
you can eventually to get to that point. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a good mentality. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Eve, and also we have the chance to talk about Snowflare.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're building a team, with Snowflare solution that we're more focusing on emphasizing on the video perspective, and the traditional hiring method is more focusing on the contextual like resume perspective. So what do you think about when you're seeing a person's video versus seeing a resume? Which one
Mm.
would you more prefer, and how's that can help you to accelerate your hiring for your team?
Yes, yeah. So I'm very happy to actually met you because we met on this other app, right? And it's really just you look at it just a picture. You don't really get a personality. Like right now, I can hear you, I can see you. You're in 3Ds, right? So
Yeah.
when I was a recruiting directors, we go through a lot of resumes, but the resume you don't really see who this person is. It's really dry, honestly. And so if your resume cannot, I only have 7 seconds. If you cannot catch my attention, it's next,
Yeah.
right? Next, and then your chances is
Actually,
gone.
you're speaking the fact that as a recruiter, majority recruiter only want to spend 7 to 15 seconds
Mm-hmm.
on that person.
Yep. Yep. That's how we look at your resume, right?
Yeah.
So if your resume, let's say, if I see a resume, you're writing a book, automatically next, right?
Yeah.
So, you only have 7 to 15 seconds actually to catch my attention to what I'm looking for. So when it's a Snowflare, what I really like about the apps is that I can actually see this person, how this person look like.
Hmm.
Also, when he or she talk, does it come in with a nice vibe energies that I was looking
Right.
for, right? How she dressed, right? If you really care about, the next profession you're looking for, you want to make sure you dress properly. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you have to be a name brand, that's not what I mean, but you have to at least put your hair together, put your
Yeah.
makeup together, right? As a man, make sure that, you look clean
You
cut.
look representable.
Yeah, you
Like
look
you want people.
representable,
Yeah.
right? So, it's, I mean, that's that first impression, right? They do say that don't judge the book by its cover, but if your cover is not even appealing, I don't even want to pick up this book and
That's
read
a really good
about it,
point. I
right?
think resume don't even give you a chance
No.
to even represent yourself. You
Mm.
so I think majority of the people on using the resume is more about like technical part. But I think personally, as we interview a lot of people, is I think the soft skill can actually give you the chance to increase in likability from the employee.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is so important to me because
Yeah.
that's literally you cut down, from a recruiter perspective, you cut down my work time, my process. Because if I look at resume, okay, that's it. I have you come in through to interview with me, then you don't really look like how I imagine you
Yeah.
on the resume. And I'm like, it's such a waste of time,
I
right?
know, right?
But if you're using Snowflare that has the video, and I can actually see, okay, this person matched about 70-80% what I was looking, what I'm looking for.
That can save a lot of time.
Yeah, save me a lot of time. I mean, right now, fast pace is everything, efficiency is everything, right? So yeah, it
Yeah.
actually save a lot of my time for sure.
Yeah. That's Thanks so much for sharing, Eve. I think a lot of people who's using Snowflare, one of the biggest mutual benefits is they see this kind of video. Usually they go by probably 5 to 10 resume to make one decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they compare with one or two, and then they can invite them directly on site.
Yes.
A lot of people actually skip the initial phone screen
Mm-hmm.
or jump into the Zoom because they already know who they are. So the candidate can actually save time directly to see the office, right,
Yeah.
and get invited to the meet a team. So that is also something is super efficient when you are actually building team and
Absolutely.
hiring.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of hiring, right, like building a team, what are the top personality and also the people that are you looking for? Like, let's just say you have some really strong team members, and what are the next 5 to 10 people that you want to hire? What is your expectation to these people?
Okay, great question. Thank you. I think being an entrepreneur for me, I think first you need to have desired dreams first. A lot of time people actually their dream dies when they get into their first job. It's like, oh, this is not how I that imagined it, right? So they just kind of live on their life and till the moment they die. So I think that will be something that as we all know, desire and dreams is not something we can teach. Everything else is teachable. If you are today thinking that, I'm good with my 9 to 5 and the rest of it, I just want to relax. Nothing wrong with that,
Yeah,
honestly, Louis, right? You and I we worked for corporate before, right? And so nothing wrong with that. It's
yeah,
because you and I we have different desire and dreams. We want to build. We want to build our own future. So I think that's the first keys, and this the second key I'm looking for a personality is if this person can work hard and have resilience. Because as you know, building this as you already know, I don't want to, paint a great growers picture. Oh, it's so easy. Yeah, you can do it, right? It is if you know how to leverage the team strength. But at the same time, do you have the resilient and working hard mentality
yeah,
to really push it through, right? Is your why really big enough? Because there's a lot of time I've met people where, oh, I really hate my job. I hate my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But but they don't do anything about it, right?
yeah,
So a lot of time, like people come to me complain their problems. I always want to say, do you have a solution?
yeah.
Because we all have problems, right?
They
But do you have a
complain.
solution? But a lot of time you find out they just want to complain. And then my next question is, okay, Louis, what do you want to do about it?
Yeah,
And they just look at me blank face. I say, okay, I get it. Next time, don't complain to me.
Yeah.
You made the bed, you sleep on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think instead of complaining, spend more time to finding the solutions might be a better way to get rid of the pain.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and I wanted to have, I guess, another personality I'm looking for is the can-do attitude, being positive, right? I'm not saying I'm always this positive,
Yeah,
but
it's okay to be negative sometimes,
some,
but
because your energy is not always going to be high all the time,
yeah,
right? We're human beings, the up and down, right?
yeah,
So the environment where I'm at is also very important. Who you hang out with. There's a saying that your income is five closest people that you hang out with, right? So if I hang out with you, Louis, then my vision got stretched. I can see that, oh, this is actually possible. I can actually make my dream come true, my own apps. How do I solve the problems that people have today in
yeah,
whatever field you're at, right? So for Snowflair, again, right, solving the employer's problem or people are looking for a job, you are solving the problem. You're
yeah,
putting them right directly, in front of the correct candidates, right? Without cutting the time going through the resumes and, the first phone interview. Oh, this sounds good. That's what my assistant do. They will do the phone interview, see if this person actually sounds good on the
yeah.
phone. And they're
That
like, okay,
communication.
yeah. And then they will schedule an in-person with me, right? So you actually solve a lot of people's problems by, cutting down the time, because time is it's something that we cannot buy back.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I will say those are the keys on people that I'm looking for, and rest of it is really just you just have to come in and learn.
Yeah,
So I say capable, right, available, and just be open minded, coachable.
right. That's
Um,
really important.
yeah,
Yeah. So at the end, if any things that you wanted to share to people about, you know, anything, you can just share anything like how you feel today, or how's other people where can they find you, or any tips you can give to the younger people that who's looking for jobs.
younger generation for looking for jobs. I wanted to just say, I think Louis, a lot of younger people that I met today or nowadays, they actually want to build their own business. They want to build their
I
own
can see that.
dreams, right?
Silicon Valley. That's
Yeah,
literally
Silicon Valley.
everyone is trying to be
Yeah,
entrepreneurs.
exactly. So I wanted to say, find your purpose first. Find your why. Simon Sinek book, Find Your Why. That's a very good
Yeah,
book to
follow him.
read. Why, and then your how and your what, right? Because if I first find your why, then you figure out how to fulfill that why and what you need to do for your why. I think that's a very important, because as we know, not everything is not going to be smooth sailing. So when you encounter struggles, then your why becomes very important. So my why, my narrative is, watch me. You doubting me, you bully me, I'm gonna make it.
I'm gonna
Right.
come back to prove you
Yeah, exactly. Prove
that
you
you're
wrong.
wrong.
Right?
Right.
Right. So, I can walk away, drop the mic. Just kidding. So, that's my why. But my why really just also wanted to create this opportunity for people who have the same experience like me, who got bullied, who got raised, whatever is the case, so they can build their own dream, own platform. So I wanted to say, find your why first, and then find a product or service or solution that help to solve today's people's problem.
Mm,
Because business, 101, right? When there is a demand and you can supply that demand, you're always going to be in business. Doesn't matter if the economic is up or down,
yeah.
and it's essential, right? So as we go through COVID, we already know one thing I really realized during COVID time is not all business died down.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people scale
Yeah,
much
like
more.
Zoom,
Yeah.
right? I never heard of Zoom before, but it actually now it's funny. Like internally, we say, "Well, Zoom tell you, boom, boom," right? It's like internal joke, right? So I never heard of Zoom before. Zoom scale,
Yeah.
right? Amazon was big, and then it's getting even bigger because of
E-commerce.
yeah, exactly. E-commerce getting so big, so a lot of retail also realized, hey, I don't need this retail space. I can sell all my clothes, fashion online. If they don't like it, they just return it, right? So but there are still business that suffer, business that cannot transition online, that's not available on the phone. Basically, this is little mini computer we carry. Those are maybe the business that have a problem. Let's say we have a next pandemic again, right? Like nails and hairs, they suffer. but restaurants, because all have to eat, grocery store, insurance, all those stuff, it's essential, right? People still looking for a job,
Yeah.
right? Those are essentials, and those will be still survive. So we always say that in our industry is pandemic bulletproof.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's that. Those are would be my suggestions. And my thought for today, I'm very blessed to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's I'm excited for Snowflare. I'm excited to use the. I know the new version is coming up. I
Yeah.
heard it's very user friendly. I'm kind of low on tech, tech, so I want
Very
it to
easy to
be
use.
very easy, very user friendly.
Yes.
And you and your team has been amazing. Anytime I give a feedback, you guys are very open minded to receive the feedback, to correct it, and so I'm very excited for Snowflare and then the
Yeah.
future partnership that we're gonna have.
Thank you, Eve. We're a very customer obsessed company, so definitely we focus we're building the product that customer needed. So yeah, thanks so
Excellent.
much, Eve. Thanks for having and
Yeah.
joining us.